It's Bob from Mountain Crest Farm. Today I'm going to do something that steak lovers would call a heresy. I'm going to take an absolutely wonderful steak, Wagyu New York Strip, and I'm going to build a sauce for it. Now, my daddy would have said that was bad. He said the only reason steaks needed sauce was because they were bad steaks. Of course, he's been dead since 1969, and back then when you thought steak sauce, you thought Heinz 57, A1, which he said was nothing but flavored ketchup, and he's about right. Occasionally he would use a little bit of Worcestershire, but let me tell you something. Cheap steak or Wagyu like I'm going to do today, this sauce is awesome. And the steak ain't half bad either. Alright, for dinner tonight, I'm going to fix Wagyu New York Strips with a blue cheese cream sauce and blistered green beans. To start with, get your steaks out of the packaging, obviously. Somebody's going to have a real good lunch tomorrow because these are packed 2 to the pack. So I've got 4 coming out and only 3 of us are eating. So whoever's hanging around here for lunch tomorrow is going to eat real good. So first thing, get the steaks out. Lightly season your steaks with salt and pepper on both sides. Put them on a baking sheet and set them aside for a few minutes to come to room temperature while you get the rest of it started. Yes, I would much prefer to be grilling these outside. However, given the temperature today, that's not going to happen. So what we're going to do is bake them, yes, I said bake them, in the oven, and then put a sear on them just before we finish and plate them. Okay, next thing is get your, these are called blistered green beans. Need to get them started. Blistered green beans are really simple. Consist of green beans. I'm using fresh. It's easier to use frozen green beans, and all it is green beans, butter, and a little bit of soy sauce. A little bit of soy sauce. Notice I did not say a little bit of butter. The more butter, the better on anything. Butter should be its own food group. Start melting your butter while you start on your sauce for the steaks. Simple sauce for the steaks is an onion, blue cheese, and heavy cream. Half an onion should be enough. Actually, half an onion won't be enough. I'll do the other half. You can hear the butter starting to sizzle over here, so about time to turn that down. Add your green beans. get them coated with butter. Cover your green beans. When you forget to add the soy sauce like I did, go back and add the soy sauce. Not a lot. And just let them sit. Using fresh green beans, it'll take them a while to cook. Start your onions to caramelizing. Don't stick your steaks in the oven yet. Just going to let the onions caramelize and let the green beans be cooking. See, after those caramelized onions, or sweated onions so far, you want them caramelized, but you don't want them burnt. So stay after them. Beans, keep an eye on those as well. Make sure they're cooking and covered. And I've probably got the temperature a little high on those. Onions I do at about medium on a gas stove. Once I've got the onions done, for the rest of the blue cheese onion sauce for the steaks, I'll be cutting the temperature back, but for right now, about medium. Once your onions start to change color, they're not caramelized, but they're headed in that direction, starting to get just a little bit of color on them, cut your heat back to a little bit below medium. And while you're taking care of the onions, make sure you're taking care of the green beans as well. Okay, just about the time these onions started showing some color, I put the steaks in the oven. I just checked them. Now, you might be one of those fancy chef types who can tell when beef is getting done by touching it, how firm it is. I'm not. I'm just a halfway decent cook. I use a probe thermometer. I'm looking for about 135, 140 degrees on mine, medium rare. And I'm looking for about 145 to 150 on the other two because Cindy and Sarah both like theirs medium well. Those beans would be done already if they were frozen, but since they are fresh beans, it takes them a little bit longer. Okay, the beans are getting close to done. They're not done, but they're getting close to done. So I'm going to move them to a burner on the back. Set on low heat to keep them cooking. And I'm going to start getting this pan scorching hot. Now, you can use any heavy bottom pan that you have. I like cast iron, and you'll see why here shortly. It has to do with the fact that these steaks are being done in the oven rather than out on the grill, and you'll see what the cast iron pan is for here in a minute. Okay, the onions are about to be caramelized. They're getting really, really close. I like kind of a dark caramelization on my onions. Some people probably would call them caramelized right there where they are now. Okay, the onions are about caramelized enough. So, cut your heat back some more. A little bit more butter. That butter melted in there. butter's melted, you want to add blue cheese. Now, the best commercial blue cheese available in the United States is called Saga Blue, S-A-G-A Blue. The store that I went to get it used to carry it. They don't carry it anymore. I don't know why they quit. For whatever reason, though, they don't carry Saga Blue anymore. The best blue cheese that I can find is called Asher Blue. It's made by a small artisan creamery down in South Georgia. But the closest place that sells it is about 80 miles north of here. And I wasn't going to go to Blue Ridge, Georgia, to a little store called Out of the Blue. Awesome kitchen place, by the way. Just to get some Asher Blue. So, I talked to some people at the Kroger, and this Ama Blue is supposed to be really good blue cheese. So after the butter's melted in here, you add some blue cheese to it. Now, as you can tell, I don't like blue cheese much. I didn't add very much to it. You don't want to burn anything, so just work that around so you get it melted. Blue cheese is not a fast melting cheese. It's not considered a melting cheese, but it will melt. You got to stay with it so you don't burn it. Once you get the blue cheese all melted in there, it's time to hit it with the cream. Now notice I have not told you how much to use of anything, except for I was going to do a half an onion and wound up doing a whole onion. I don't really measure much when I'm cooking. When I'm baking, yes. If you don't measure when you're baking, you wind up with junk. But when I'm cooking, I don't do much in the way of measuring. I just use what I think looks right and looks like it's going to taste good. I do know this needs a little bit more blue cheese in it. I guess it needs that much more blue cheese. And since I use that much more, I can tell you how much blue cheese to use in this. This has 5.5 ounces in it. Oh, that sit there on low heat. Hold it warm. Give the beans a stir. They're getting close. And check on the steaks. Are getting close, but they're not there yet. So we're waiting on green beans and steak. Okay, my steak's cooked enough. Theirs will have to stay in there a little bit longer. Now you'll see how an oven cooked steak can be as good as a grilled steak, almost. That's what this scorching hot pan is for. Slide theirs back in to cook a little bit more. About a minute on each side will give it a nice sear. Then I'll show you something that a lot of people don't do, but it'll make it even better. Put it on one side, flip it. After it's seared on the other side, this is what people don't do. Sear the edge. The flavor there too. And once you've seared one edge, flip it over. I know, New York strip has a fat streak down the side. Well, sear that fat streak. That's where the flavor is. Then is when it's done. Now, let's take a look at the results. Perfect medium rare. Of course, the real result is in the taste. Yeah, folks, that's some good stuff. Well, I showed you how to cook the steak, and I showed you how to make the sauce. I only taste tested the steak. When it was done, I was hungry, Cindy was hungry, Sarah was hungry, the steak was done, and I flat forgot to show you using the sauce. I just showed you a sample of the steak and told you how good it was. Take a little bit of the sauce, put it on the plate, a little puddle of it, put steak on top of it, and put your sides on there and go to town. Because folks, let me tell you something. If you like blue cheese and if you like caramelized onions, that sauce is awesome. And all it does is complement the flavor of a steak. Cheap steak, medium steak, great steak like that Wagyu New York Strips we just cooked. All of it. The sauce complements it big time. So y'all have a great day, and remember, always have fantastic days, weeks, months, and years, and it's really, really simple. Not easy, but really, really simple. All you have to do is remember that the tomb was empty, and he is alive. And I'll see y'all in the next video.